Rumble.
Yeah, or how for some reason Lashley just had to just whip him with a chair.
Yeah. Yeah, so this was obviously better than that match. But
obviously, because at least
they gave it some time.
And I should probably actually can is there by any chance can I re-rate that?
Oh yeah, no, that is fine because
Yeah.
nothing's been said yet. 2.5 was the rating for me.
Yeah, I looking back on it, I probably would go that route too.
But I would have had they not done that, who knows? Maybe it could have been like 3, and I actually could have gone away considering it a good match.
I probably could have said 3 1/4.
Maybe
because like
had they just not done that.
At that point, they're still relatively young.
Yeah,
and those are they're still like they're upcoming superstars. So like at that time, those would probably that's like a perfect.
Yeah, I always thought it was just weird just because of like the whole cross brand thing and
they actually had an ECW referee, which I thought they would screw that up, to be honest.
I didn't even catch that. Good point. So next we'd have the Divas Talent Competition hosted by The Miz. Not going to say anything really about that at all. I'm just going to skip that, I guess. Then finally we'd have the main event. Tag team match. John Cena and Shawn Michaels versus Batista and Undertaker. WrestleMania opponents as tag team partners. Undertaker, of course, being Batista's opponent. Taker, the winner of the 2007 Royal Rumble match. The Royal Rumble 2007, of course, is an event that we did cover in the past.
Our very, very first rewind, believe it or not.
Another second.
Or second?
Yeah, Great American Bash.
Yeah.
That would have been a much better note to start out on.
Yeah.
That was actually a good show. It was actually our second edition of JNC Rewind.
Yeah, don't listen to me.
It was a good show, very good show, maybe even. Both being, of course, the rewind and the event itself. So be sure to check both of those out. Of course, there's many different ways you can check out the rewind. So those are available in all different kinds of places. And of course, if you haven't already, check out that show on the network if you get the chance.
Yeah,
I'd recommend it. If you want a direct link to that show, though, head over to the JNC Radio website and go to the episodes page, scroll down to JNC Rewind, number 2, Royal Rumble 2007. Click that link and it'll give you a direct link right over to Spreaker.com, which I guess for a lack of a better term, you could almost say it's kind of like the home of JNC Radio. So shout out to them. It's a site that we initially aired our program from.
Yep. And now we're everywhere else.
Yeah. So, getting back on track, cheap plugs aside once again, those are going to happen, so it's just something I guess we all got to accept. So we'd have Undertaker and Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 23 on one side. We also have John Cena and Shawn Michaels for the WWE Championship on the other side. SmackDown versus Raw. Michaels and Cena were also World Tag Team Champions at the time, defeating Edge and Randy Orton, rated RKO, for the belts.
I know there were Raw titles, but like just knowing that they were just tag team champions just for the hell of it, how we're just throwing those belts on the line just for the hell of it.
Who knows? Which them doing that, I didn't fully understand at that point. Looking back at it, maybe they just I don't know. It's just one other thing to add to the match story. I don't know.
Right.
I didn't really get that, or maybe like what I would have done before that is maybe I would have had them drop the belt so then they get even more mad at each other or something like that.
Yeah, but
they had the Hardys take it off of them or whatever. Like they should have just had them take it off of them maybe before that or something.
They had to go through 2 Battle Royals.
Yeah,
like they won the Battle Royal and then they were like, no, never mind, no, you gotta go through a second Battle Royal.
So getting into the match, they start out with John Cena and Batista. Some history here, of course, both of them being the final 2 men left in the 2005 Royal Rumble match. And they both won their first world championships in this very building at WrestleMania 21.
Yes, they did. JBL kept alluding to that.
Yeah. So we'd see Taker and Cena, Shawn and Taker, even Batista and Shawn. Of course, we know it's a tag team match, but I only point that out because those are all matchups I guess you could say we'd all see at some point down the road.
Yes.
All former world champions, 4 Hall of Fame talents, 1 current, 1 soon to be in April, and 2 more in the future. Crowds really into these guys, as you'd expect.
Cena's getting to that point where he's getting those mixed reactions.
And he'd been getting them for a bit at this point, but it was quite evident here also. The crowd was really into these guys, which I think that really helped make the match. I think it's just the star power in there. It's like, how can you not like being into it?
And Sean's still doing a DX thing, still.
Oh, yeah, he still had his DX music and all that jazz. And I guess one of my favorite spots is the double hot tag from Batista and Shawn, which brought in Cena and Taker, because Taker would just go off on everyone. He'd deliver his famous comeback moves. And he was just moving around just so well, he was just moving around the ring just so good, and that was just really fun to watch.
Yeah.
I personally think from the 2007-2009 period, he was actually going through one of the best runs of his career as a performer, because a lot of my favorite Taker matches come from that 2 to 3 year stretch, whether it be, Taker and Batista and those battles.
909.
Yeah, but still, his matches with Edge, the Shawn Michaels match at 25.
And 26. Why not mention that?
Yeah, but I was more specifically saying 7 and 9. That's the only reason why I said that. Just really great stuff. In the end, following a choke slam from Undertaker to Cena, Batista would hit Undertaker with a spine buster, turning on his partner and leaving him for dead pretty much.
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. Shawn would get the sweet chin music on Taker. Cena would follow up with the FU, would pin Taker. Very likable tag team match, fun main event, and a good finish, I thought, really, to add some more fuel to the fire and for the Undertaker and Batista feud, which is a feud I enjoyed tremendously, in my opinion. It was the rivalry of 2007.
They totally did the World Heavyweight Championship match right.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much the WWE title.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. That match was great, too. Yeah. But just, leading into it, I guess it was.
They build it up right for SmackDown.
Yeah.
Not so much for Raw.
Yeah, for me, Taker and Batista is, the best rivalry of 07.
Oh, yeah, I totally agree with that.
So, we both agreed to give it 3 3/4. Very good main event. Very fun. Very enjoyable. The winners, of course, were John Cena and Shawn Michaels, 22 minutes and 9 seconds.
Batista was cut up at one point.
Oh yeah, he was too. As far as a show in general, we both agreed also to go with a 6 out of 10. Not a very good show, not really memorable, but we've covered worse.
Yeah, we covered December to December.
Great American Bash.
04.
Yeah, so but once again, it's like we've said before, I believe in the show, it's like those pay-per-views in between Rumble and Mania are just
they're just
there. It's not
they're
really
not. Maybe back in Attitude Era, as we saw with 2000.
Yeah, what we just did.
Or probably either 99 shows or something.
Those
they were good. The pay-per-views before Mania actually were good back then.
Oh yeah, they served its purpose.
But for some reason nowadays they're super lackluster. What's it going to be again this year? Is it going to be Elimination Chamber?
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
So there's that. But of course, in the aftermath, the weeks to follow, Undertaker and Batista would continue their feud, leading to their high-profile WrestleMania bout. Shawn Michaels and John Cena would go on to main event WrestleMania 23 for the WWE Championship. Great main event, of course, but I always love how they say as I've said many times, the Rumble winner is going to go on in the main event.
Think about that. Shawn Michaels was the last person eliminated, and he got the main event.
Yeah, good point.
Might as well should have just won the Rumble instead.
After this match, Kane and King Booker would go on to face each other again, this time on SmackDown in a Money in the Bank qualifying match, which Booker would win.
Mm-hmm.
The Hardy Boys would also be a part of the Money in the Bank ladder match at WrestleMania with Randy Orton, Edge, Mr. Kennedy, Finlay, and CM Punk.
Everyone's favorite.
As noted earlier in the program, Chris Benoit, MVP, would have a match at WrestleMania 23 as well. They'd feud over the United States title.
For a few months, because then MVP eventually would have captured it and then hold on to it for over a year.
And then the ECW World Champion at the time, Bobby Lashley, would go on to represent Donald Trump in the Battle of the Billionaires hair versus hair match against MAGA, who was representing Vince McMahon. Once again, WrestleMania 23 is an event which we're going to be going into great detail and depth on in the future for one of our upcoming shows in March. In fact, it will be coming your way toward the middle of the month, along with WrestleMania 24. Yes, March 15th and 16th. Those shows are both slated to be an all JNC Rewind Sunday and Monday, so be ready for that. So that's pretty much all we got for No Way Out 2007. Hope you liked the show. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media pages. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JNC Radio. That is JNC_radio. Like our Facebook page. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. JNC Radio Rewinds, whatever you like. Those are available on all platforms, including Spreaker.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. All different platforms, so be sure to check that out. And, of course, our next JNC Rewind is going to be No Way Out of 2001. That'll be coming to you Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, so be sure to check that out. Here, it's a great show. We're looking forward to covering it. And, of course, later in the month, we're going to have St. Valentine's Day Massacre 1999. We're going to have No Way Out of 2008. So, got some No Way Out shows in here. Going to be talking about some of those. But it's the month of February. No Way Out for a long time was the February pay-per-view.
Yes, it was.
So, so we look forward to doing that. And then, of course, we'll have the NXT TakeOver Portland review and recap down the line. And then, of course, going into next month, of course, March 1st, we'll have AEW Revolution 2020. We'll have that review and recap up. That's going to be in reverse because we're going to be doing that Sunday. We're going to have that up a Sunday, and then we're going to reverse and do, because AEW pay-per-view is on Saturday, then we're going to do the JNC Rewind for that Monday. And that's going to be our first WrestleMania JNC Rewind. It's going to be WrestleMania X7. Mm-hmm. So be sure to check that out. Look forward to doing that. And we're going to have WrestleMania 21 the next week. And then we're going to have our Elimination Chamber 2020 review and recap. March 15th and 16th, as I said, WrestleMania 23, 24, JNC Rewinds, all JNC Rewind Sunday and Monday. Then we're going to have March 22nd, we're going to have WrestleMania 10 for JNC Rewind. And then we're going to have JNC Rewind WrestleMania 19 on the 29th. And then March 30th, we're going to have our NXT TakeOver WrestleMania 36 previews, followed by other stuff going on related at the time. And then we're going to have, of course, TakeOver and Mania. We're going to have our show April 5th, April 6th. Of course, the Sunday show will be the TakeOver review and recap for Mania. That'll be the next, we should have that slated for the next Monday morning. It's going to be a long show, I know that.
Oh, yeah.
Hell, it might be our longest show ever. It might be like a 2-hour one.
Maybe.
And then, of course, we do have the rest of the April lineup set up. We have Backlash at 2008 as our first rewind following that. Then we have JNC Radio slotted. And then we have an all-Impact weekend with TNA Lockdown 2009, Impact Wrestling Rebellion 2020 review and recap following. And then, of course, we have JNC Rewind, ECW Barely Legal 1997, the first ever ECW pay-per-view. So we hope you guys like this one. Even if you didn't like the show, as always, hope you at least like us discussing it, and we hope we get you to check it out yourself. Of course, spread the word, tell your friends, tell your family,
loved ones, girlfriends, boyfriends, everybody.
Yeah, be sure to spread the word and tell us about JNC Radio. So I hope you guys like this one. That's all we got for you guys, and peace.